Students, you may be seated. Good morning, and welcome to the 2025 White Coat Ceremony for the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences. My name is Dr. Randall Worth. I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions. And on behalf of the outstanding staff and deans in the Office of Student Affairs, it's with great pleasure that I welcome you today. The entering class of medical students has achieved extraordinary academic success in order to gain acceptance into the MD program. Academic excellence is not enough, however, to make a caring doctor who has a genuine concern for his or her patients as individuals. This is why the University of Toledo MD program uses a holistic admissions process that evaluates applicants based not only on their academic credentials, but on their personal qualities, values, and contributions outside the classroom. A major reason that these students are here at the University of Toledo is because they have demonstrated the personal values and humanistic qualities that are desired in physicians, characteristics such as honesty and integrity, compassion and empathy, altruism, respect for others, and dedication to service. So like learning, professional development is a lifelong process. We've started to build upon these students' innate humanistic values and attitudes during this week's orientation. The culmination of orientation and the start of the new academic year is today's White Coat Ceremony. Students, the White Coat Ceremony is a symbolic one to emphasize that you are not just embarking on another academic journey, but you are entering what is arguably the noblest of professions, where your true success will not be judged by your grades and test scores, but how well you serve your fellow human. The White Coat Ceremony is a unique opportunity for you as beginning medical students to bond with your fellow classmates while celebrating your choice of a career in medicine. The white coat is a mantle of the profession of medicine and symbolizes the compassion that your future patients expect from you. So at this time, it's my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Imran Ali, Dean of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences. Dr. Ali.
Good morning. On behalf of the University of Toledo College of Medicine, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the incoming class of medical students, family, and friends. We are so pleased that you have decided to enter the profession of medicine and have chosen the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences for your medical education. The start of a new academic year is a time of enthusiasm, a sense of accomplishment, and high energy. We share that excitement and energy you're feeling today as you embark on a journey to fulfill your dreams of becoming a doctor, a physician, and a healer. So who are you, the class of 2029? You're the 57th entering class. Class size, 175. You were selected from over 6,577 applicants. 63% of you are from the state of Ohio, and 22% are from Northwest Ohio. 37% are from 24 other states across the country, including 13 from Michigan, 7 from California, 6 from Pennsylvania, Florida, and Illinois. You come with a wide variety of from a wide variety of colleges and universities, both regionally and nationally. Academically, all of you are highly, highly accomplished. Your average GPA, 3.78, average MCAT, 510. Degrees, 175 bachelor's and 19 master's. Average age, 23. Split 50-50 among men and women. You're also joining the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences at a very exciting time for us. Our curricular innovation continues. As we know, excellence is a journey and not a destination. We are fully committed to your success. As I've said before, your success will define our success. Our clinical training opportunities are constantly evolving to offer you a greater range and diversity of possibilities. For those of you who are interested in biomedical research, those opportunities will also be made available to you. We want to train you in a way that you feel well prepared and at ease in an academic, rural, or community-based environment, whichever you choose as your career path. A measure of our training is how well our students do after graduating from medical school. I'm happy to report that our students consistently do exceptionally well with the residency match. This past spring, our students matched into many, many excellent and competitive programs. Our match rates were much higher than the national average, and more importantly, many of our students are choosing to stay in Toledo to join our high-quality residency programs. A substantial number of practicing physicians in the community and our academic programs are graduates of our training program. However, as noted by Dr. Worth, the most important aspect of your training and a true measure of our success is the professionalism and the humanistic care that our graduates provide during their training and afterwards. The College of Medicine also has additional training opportunities for some of you. You may want to pursue a joint degree program to an MD-JD, MD-PhD, MD-MBA, MD Masters in Public Health, and many others. Most importantly, the University of Toledo College of Medicine Life Sciences is a family of fully committed faculty, staff, postgraduate trainees, and students who will help you achieve your full potential. Congratulations and welcome to you all. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Thomas Soderman, the College of Medicine Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate and a faculty in the College of Medicine, as well as an Associate Dean of Student Affairs. Dr. Soderman.
Your University of Toledo Alumni Association and the College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate are pleased to be a part of today's ceremony and honored to present these white coats, which were purchased by our alumni as gifts to you. The stethoscopes you received earlier this week are gifts from our alumni as well. The Alumni Association and the College of Medicine Affiliate will be with you to help you improve the human condition. Please let us know how we can assist you during the next 4 years and beyond. On behalf of the more than 9,000 alumni of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences, we're excited and we wish you the best for you and your families on this special day.
So part of the tradition of the white coat ceremony is to present gifts to the incoming class to remind you of the responsibilities of the profession you've chosen for your life's work. As you just heard from Dr. Soderman, the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate has generously provided white coats and stethoscopes for each student. In addition, each coat has a Keeping Healthcare Human lapel pin with a gold Mobius loop on the pin, which represents the critical bond between clinician and patient that is at the heart of compassionate care. The pins serve as a visual reminder to students that to deliver the best care to their patients, compassion and empathy must be the hallmark of their clinical practice. The pins are a gift from the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, a public foundation dedicated to fostering humanism in medicine, and also the initiators of the first white coat ceremony back in 1993. At this time, I will call each student's name and have you come forward to the center of the stage where you will be cloaked with your first white coat. Dr. Mohammed Musa, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, Dr. Thomas Soderman, College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate, and Dr. Catherine Van Hook, Associate Dean for Foundational Sciences, will cloak the entering students. There's a professional photographer who will then take an individual photo of each student with Dr. Ali, which will be available for purchase online. Dr. Elias Abusada, Elias Abusada. Tinu Afulabi. Akil Aitha. Afia Akhtar. Matthew Allman. Athir Amr. Amar Athar. Chris Janyal Oman. Arush Baburi. Tristan Barji. Michael Bates. Sakath Bathula. Emma Badeau. Lily Boone. Benjamin Bosetsky. Nicole Bryson. Cynthia Bukira. Joshua Kabakunya. Lexi Carmine. Matthew Casey. Lauren Chan. Anita Chari. Qasim Chaudhry. David Chen. Kelsey Chen. Cheyenne Chin. Anna Sicello. Erica Conant. Irvin Trey. Robert Curry. Yusuf Dabul. Caroline Daggett. Emily Davis. Jacob Davis. Kajal Desai. Anam Dewani. Evelyn Dewey. Tu Min Do. Jaden Doda Panini. Kyle Doyle. Connor Durham. Jarrett Dye. Andrew Eckert. Samir Al-Jubaili. Sarah Faisal. Jad Fakuri. Julia Fan. William Fan. Noor Farouk. Evan Faxon. Farzine Fazili. Charles Ferguson. Siddharth Fernandez. Mark Gibson. Paloma Gonzalez. Taylor Griffith. Rajeshwari Guram. Hunter Hall. Parker Hamilton. Sean Hanna. El Sadiq Hawamdi. Nathan Hirschberger. Ashley Hertzfeld. Simon Hoffman. Ashley Hogue. Lydia Hollis. Vivian Hollop. Amanda Halawadi. Lainey Hoyt. Ibrahim Ifteha. Yakov Ishakas. Niraj Javadekar. Safwan Jaweed. Torrance Jakins. Viraj Joshi. Jasdeep Kong. Rukeya Kareem. Natalie Kellen. Sonia Kennedy. Sahil Kambompati. Jenna Khan. Sania Khan. Hala Korea. Cameron Kirk. Andrew Kempel. Grace Kolar. Amal Kohli. Supriya Kumar. Michelle Kwan. Taya LeBlanc Hill. Elizabeth Lee. Trinity Lee. Crystal Lehigh. Stephen Leon. Thomas Leslie. Allison Lee. Kathy Lee. Erica Lynn. Tamia Lindgren. Melika Levi. Kaylin Lortz. Lila Mahmood. Sreyansh Mamidi. Rithvik Mariala. Connor McCoy. Connor McGowan. Delaney McGranahan. Allison McHenry. Selah McKenney. Gabriella Mellon. Jack Mezajetic. Dominic Matsarus. Allison Meyer. Olivia Meyer. Lauren Mick. Armand Manasian. Yusuf Muhammad Nasser. Sean Murphy. Hannah Nam. Isabel Nestor. Scott Netter. Andrew Wynn. Janelle Nune. Tarek Nukta. Mazen Omer. Victoria Osborne. Julia Palea. Vakshita Palerla. Josh Perisher. Jun Sun Park. Desha Pereira. Stephen Parada. Joseph Petro. Ethan Pills. Ryan Post. Angelia Poulopoulos. Daniel Powell. Arushi Ratna. Nisha Reddy. Colin Riggins. Patrick Rowan. Ella Ryan. Adam Salahat. Eric Salvati. Emery Sandler. Dean Sari. Sammy Sarouge. Ty Schaub. Desiree Schaefer. Gina Schaefer. Good. Q Shim. Jordan Schachman. Seth Short. Matt Siegel. Misha Sohail. David Soriano. Jordan Sovic. Charles Stewart. Kylene Stickle. Magana Sugar. Sean Tang. Benjamin Tice. Ashna Tipernini. Alyssa Toth. Olivia Tullis Sivak. Natalia Van Loo. Helen Verghese. Elizabeth Verhoff. Alec West. Bryce Whitehead. Lucas Williams. Madeline Wolf. Stephen Yang. Patrick Yazigi. Roxana Kupai. At this time, I would like to call upon fourth-year student Lisa Zhang, who is a representative from the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences chapter of the Gold Humanism Honor Society, class of 2026, and also an academic peer leader, who will lead the first-year class in a recitation of the Medical Student Pledge of Ethics.
Congratulations, everyone. Will the class of 2029 please stand? Please join us in reciting the Medical Student Pledge of Ethics found in your program. I publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities given to me today as a physician in training and dedicate myself to provide care to those in need. I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity, embracing opportunities to learn from patients, teachers, and colleagues. I will always maintain the highest standards of professional conduct. I will certify only that which I have personally verified, and I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations. I will value the knowledge and wisdom of the physicians who have preceded me. I will recognize my weaknesses and strengths and strive to develop those qualities that will earn the respect of my patients, my colleagues, my family, and myself. I will respect the humanity, rights, and decisions of all patients and will attend to them with compassion and without bias. I will maintain patient confidentiality and be tactful in my words and actions. I will value the diversity of patients' experiences, cultures, and beliefs because it enhances my ability to care for them and enriches my education. I will not forget that there is an art to medicine as well as a science, and that warmth, sympathy, and understanding are integral to patient care. I will strive to earn the trust my patients place in me and the respect that society places upon my profession. I will recognize the privileges afforded to me as a physician in training and promise not to abuse them. Even as a student, I have a responsibility to improve the standard of health in my community, to increase access to care for the underserved, and to advance medical knowledge. As I accept these new responsibilities, I will not forget the importance of my own health and well-being. I will continue to value my relations with those who have supported me in the past and those who will share in my future. Knowing my own limitations and those of medicine, I commit myself to a lifelong journey of learning how to cure, relieve, and comfort with humility and compassion. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Please be seated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, doctors-to-be, students, family, and friends, we have all witnessed a very important event today. We have observed 175 medical students commit themselves to a special journey of growth and discovery, the commitment to becoming a physician. The symbol of the commitment today is the donning of the white coat. The white coat, as a symbol of medical profession, has been in existence for more than a century, but the values that define our oath transcend that time. Meaningful changes begin with a promise. It may be a promise to yourself, to a loved one, or to a room full of people. Just a few minutes ago, you all made a promise upon your honor in front of all these witnesses. The oath that you took speaks of accepting the privileges and the responsibilities given to you today. Your vow spoke of honesty, integrity, humility, and compassion. You're committed to recognizing your strengths and weaknesses and developing qualities that will earn the respect of others. Your promise is to all of those here with you today and to your mentors, teachers, and communities in which you will serve, and most importantly, to the patients that will rely on you and trust you with their care. A very important part of your journey is your commitment to professionalism and highest ethical and moral standards. Character and integrity, along with hard work and perseverance, are what will lead you to be the best you can be. There will be multiple challenges. These next few years, you'll need to work harder than you think. There is so much to learn in the practice of medicine. You'll also learn to live with making difficult decisions at times. To measure up to the promise you made may not be easy, but none of you would be in the seats wearing your new white coats if you were looking for easy. I thank you for your promise today to join this wonderful journey of becoming a physician. So enjoy the rest of the day and this weekend with your friends and family. This is a celebration of the beginning of a possible marathon. Although the journey is long and arduous, you have our commitment that we will provide you with the best education and mentorship we can and help you transition from the short white coat, which you'll wear for the next 4 years, to a long white coat that will define you for the rest of your professional life. With that, I wish to congratulate all the incoming students and your families on your magnificent achievements and walking the path with us. Today, together, we begin a new page in our lives. Our most sincere welcome and warmest congratulations. Welcome to the UT College of Medicine family. Now I'll go off script. I want to recognize a special individual who is with us today. Dr. Manning, will you please stand? Dr. Manning has been a faculty member of UT College of Medicine for 56 years. And 56 more to come. He's a fierce advocate of students, of faculty of our university, and what used to be the Medical College of Ohio. We have a great degree of respect for him and what he has accomplished. So you will see him in the classroom, but I thought we should recognize him. Now, the audience may exit. Students, please remain seated for a group photo and an awkward selfie that I'll take. Thank you very much for being here and enjoy the rest of the week.